Welcome to Horror Cinema Obsession. Here, we dive deep into the chilling depths of horror cinema, from the critically acclaimed scares to the laughably ludicrous, and even the delightfully obscure. Now, let's join our hosts, Richard and Angelus, as they share their love, laughs, and sometimes sheer disbelief at the world of horror movies.
Holla, holla, holla. This is Horror Cinema Obsession. I'm one of your hosts, Richard, and then the second host is so beautiful. Her name's Angelus. How are you? This is where you say hello. Hola.
What the fuck? Hello.
Hello. It's always awkward. We got to just figure out how to just go into it.
I'm good.
And
I'm Gucci. How are you, Richard?
Doing good? I'm doing great. I got another session of On Call. It's the going theme. It's going great already. Love you guys. So if there's any awkward pauses, that's because I had to pause, take care of something, and then come back to it. But anyways, my week's been pretty good. It's been solid. We got our move-in date the end of October. I'm pretty excited about that. It's one of our favorite months of the year, obviously. It's spooky season. Are you pretty excited about that?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. No, you got to sound like Rob Zombie. Yeah.
Yeah, to the...
Yeah.
I'm bummed we can't decorate for Halloween, though.
Yeah, I know, dude. We get our keys the 31st. So, I mean, we could probably slap something together pretty quickly.
No.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna come by.
Yeah, right. You'd be surprised. So your week's gone by pretty good?
Sure. Yes, it's going. It's Friday.
Yeah, I know. Anything significant happening?
Mm-mm.
We're going to see a haunted house tonight. I'm pretty excited. If all goes well.
If all goes well, speak for yourself, man. I got tickets purchased. I'm going.
Oh my God. I know. I just feel bad. Like, work has gotten so busy. I've had to cancel so many plans with you, and they cost money. And I'm like, fuck. Like, Smashing Pumpkins was the last one.
You deep down did not want to go to that.
I did want to go desperately.
It's on the podcast, the episode before that.
But no, these situations, like, now I don't, like Scarywood at Silverwood. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to that. So I'm a little bummed.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with me.
Sure. This is You're pretending to be bummed.
I'm
deep down,
bummed. I
you're
want to
like...
go. That's fun. Last year was fun. Anyways, so that's good. The movie we're covering, we got a good one for you today. One of my personal favorites. It is 1996's Bad Moon. No, it's not a straight to VHS movie like some thought. This was a masterpiece that went to the theaters, man.
My Lanta.
Now, Angelus, I know you have different feelings and opinions on this. What are your initial thoughts?
It was a wholesome family movie. That's my opinion.
Okay, how'd you like it?
It was okay.
It was okay. Can you touch on it a little bit?
Meh. I'm not a werewolf person.
I know. I found this out, and I wish I knew this a little sooner in our relationship. I love werewolves.
You can live in the garage. It's okay.
Listen, this movie is like fucking Air Buds. If you know the movie Air Bud.
Never seen it in my life.
Well,
just kidding. There's like basketball and volleyball
Air
and
Buddies.
wrestling, like everything.
So Air Bud, it's kind of like, yeah, Air Bud versus the werewolf, which I love. This movie is awesome, and it's more darker than a kid's movie. Like, you like to make it think.
There's some scenes, yes. The killings are not PG.
But that...
Other than that, it's pretty... It's a family movie, man.
it does have family.
A lot of family.
Yeah.
It revolves the whole family.
So does Fast and the Furious.
And we're not talking about Fast and the Furious. We're covering a horror movie.
So yeah, it wasn't your favorite. So in terms, and we'll cover this later too, but your personal take on this, I'm going to quote you on this. You were like, what is this schlock? Leprechaun was 10 times better, and that hurt my
It
feelings.
was. I didn't use the word schlock, but I did say Leprechaun was more entertaining.
Oh, fuck.
My bad, bro.
And everybody's entitled to their opinion. This one was one of my personal favorites. I was hoping you would like it, but the fact that it just turned you off completely to horror movies, like, that hurt my heart a little bit. I broke a little inside.
You broke?
Yeah.
I got a Band-Aid in my bag somewhere.
Damn.
I told you, I don't find werewolves. I have yet to watch a werewolf movie where I thought the werewolf was scary. Every movie so far that I've watched that has been just the story kind of feels the same to me from the movies that I've seen. It's a guy who walks in and then gets bit. Now he's a werewolf. He falls in love with a girl, but he's scared to get close to her because he's going to hurt her when he turns.
But this?
And then this was that werewolf with a family, and there was one scene where I was like, oh yeah, that looks kind of creepy, but that was it.
Yeah. The creepy factor isn't there. I agree with you. And I'm not scared.
I want creepy.
And I'm not scared. I guess I knew what was coming, so I wasn't necessarily scared. And I'm not really scared of werewolf movies. I just like the action. And usually, especially in the 80s and 90s, I love the practical effects that make the werewolf. They show the werewolf's transformation from man to beast. That's what I really like about this. So I get it, but I do like the interesting take on this, the route they took. And it is, I mean, we'll cover a little bit more. It is based off the book called Thor, which is the dog's name. So you didn't even think that was unique?
The dog? I mean, yeah, it's a different story, but I just didn't think it was scary.
I know, I didn't either. But I didn't think It Follows was. I didn't think Leprechaun was. They're fun.
I thought Leprechaun, the costume that they put on the actor.
Oh, it was creepy for sure.
Yeah, that was a lot more creepy. The way he keeps coming at you, he has magical powers and he can just kill you.
But a werewolf has that raw animal primal instinct.
But you only saw him in his full suit a handful of times.
I know.
It all happened in the woods, outside of camera.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
So this movie had a modest budget of approximately $7 million.
I like that you call it modest.
I mean, dude, so for those movies in the 90s, we've covered a few. That $7 million seems to be the going rate. And that's pretty cheap for these. So, however, though, the movie did struggle, unlike other ones that grossed crazy amounts of money. Yeah. This one struggled at the box office, and it grossed only around 1.1 million. So it took a wash in regards of making its money back. And that was during the theatrical release. While it didn't perform well commercially, Bad Moon has since gained a cult following, particularly among fans of werewolf horror films.
I think you're the only one that I've ever met that has been like, Bad Moon.
I know, but there's a lot of things. You've never seen Leprechaun before.
Yes, I had.
You have?
Yes. We talked about this.
Huh.
It's on record.
Oh. So, yeah, no. And so Bad Moon 2 was also, well, Bad Moon, the original Bad Moon. I don't know if there's a 2. This movie was filmed in British Columbia, Canada. The movie's outdoor scenes, particularly the ones involving the family's house and the surrounding wilderness, were shot in Vancouver area, which often doubles as the location in the Pacific Northwest due to its lush forested landscape.
They lied to us?
Which I want to ask you, what part of Washington do you think that was?
West.
You think it was the west side? Because they don't specify either.
Yes. It looked like west, like when you drive through Olympic National Park, just how lush and full it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely isn't here on the east side. Not Spokane, where it's all desert and rock.
It's not desert and rock. It's a combo of both. Now you have to drive over to Moses Lake.
That's the armpit of Washington.
That central area. But no, it gave me vibes like when we went to Port Angeles, there was a lot of lush and
I could see that.
Forest over there.
That's kind of what, they just didn't specify. They just said they were in Washington at some point.
You lied to me.
I will say for my notes, the use of Canadian locations was common in the 90s as it helped keep production costs lower, which we're kind of seeing that now. I've seen a couple things like Hollywood's kind of barren. They're moving everything to Canada for how cheap it is.
Damn.
So, but yeah, so that's Bad Moon. Its location. Again, Bad Moon was supposed to take place in the Pacific Northwest region of the United States, specifically in a remote forested area that gives the film its isolated and eerie atmosphere. While the exact state or location isn't explicitly mentioned in the film, the setting clearly evokes a typical Pacific Northwest wilderness with its dense woods, tall trees, and secluded surroundings, making it an ideal backdrop for a werewolf
Like
story.
Twilight movies? How they were filmed up here.
Yeah, Forks, Washington, baby.
Boop, boop.
Have you visited that?
I stopped there. We stopped there
I
for
did
gas.
too. I did too.
And then everywhere is like posters. Bellin.
Dude, I remember getting a
Word.
handful of Twilighters.
And this was years, like, after. This was
know.
only like a.
Oh, a couple
4
years I
years
went. It's been a couple years, but I went and it's still heavily. They got cutouts. They got shirts. Like I said, I bought like 5 Twilighters. So give it out to all my friends and stuff.
You know who went out there? Madison made her grandma
Oh my God.
take her. And I guess it took a vacation to Forks and they visited some of the places where they filmed.
Oh my God. Who's the nerd now, Madison?
Yeah, I know. Call her out next time.
Call me out. No.
She even had a board game of Twilight.
Really? She was heavy. I mean, that was the age, though. A lot of girls that age were
Yeah.
stoked on Twilight.
I don't know if she was Team Edward or Jacob. I should ask her.
Well, I mean, she is with Orlando. She likes the more ethnic.
Jesus.
I'm just saying. Werewolf, baby. Going that primal.
No.
What's his name?
Who?
The werewolf.
I said Jacob. I think it's
Team
Jacob.
Yeah. We'll have to ask her. That's a riveting question. Now I'm dying to know. You should text her. Just real quick. Say Team Edward, Team Jacob. What's
That will
up?
do. Let's see if she'll reply.
Do you have any fun facts or anything that you want to cover before this? Or yours is usually sprinkled into the scene for scene.
I was trying to look for stuff and oh my gosh. It was harsh. I did see that apparently they kind of effed up because they showed a lot of full moons back to back. Unrealistic.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. They really squished those all together.
Yeah, they did.
But that's okay. This is supposed to be a fun movie. This isn't supposed to be accurate depiction because werewolves aren't real. Come on. In this world, full moons happen quite a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, they're not real. So it's left to their imagination. I'll give them that. Kind of like you always say, well, maybe this happened, trying to like.
That they couldn't tell that moons don't happen back to back.
In this world it can, goddammit.
Okay.
Do you have any other fun facts that you want to cover before we get into this stuff?
No.
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 So I do have that, I think Michael Perrier, is that how you say it? Perret, who plays the werewolf, and Uncle Ted was initially hesitant about taking on the role because he thought werewolf movies were cheesy. In interviews, he later admitted that he enjoyed working on the film, especially the challenge of the special effects and wearing the werewolf suit. You could humorously imagine trying to deliver serious lines while in a full werewolf makeup, thinking, this is my life now. That's what I put. This is my life now. That's funny, though. Werewolf movies are cheesy. Kind of going along the line what you were thinking.
Oh my God. We have something in common.
And then, yeah, so that's a good transition for the cast. How do you feel about the cast? We had Dennis the Menace.
We had Dennis the Menace. And then we have that lady that I've seen before.
I've seen her so many times in movies, but I can't pinpoint what movies. But she has a familiar face.
I can't think of where, but she looks familiar. Maybe she just has a familiar face.
Maybe she has a familiar face.
Maybe Mavis. I do appreciate that she was like playing a mom in the 90s. And she looks very natural, like I could see her expressions on her face. She wasn't all Botoxed up.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, no, you like the cast or
I did. I didn't realize that he was a lot younger when he filmed Dennis, right?
oh yeah, I think that was a couple years prior. I
Mason
believe.
Gamble.
So let's start with Michael. How'd you feel as him as the werewolf and the Uncle Ted?
He did a fine, quite marvelous role.
That sounds pretty sarcastic.
He's been on everything. I'm surprised at that.
That's what you were mentioning. So some of the things that I got, I didn't list everything, was Eddie and the Cruisers in 1983, Streets of Fire in 84, The Philadelphia Experiment in 84, Village of the Damned 95, which I don't remember him in, and then Virgin Suicides in 1999. I think that's directed by Sofia Coppola.
I watched that. I don't remember him in it. I remember Kirsten Dunst.
In Virgin Suicides?
Oh, is that a different one?
That's Interview with a Vampire, if you're thinking of that.
No, she was in it.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Yes, sir. He has 216 credits, acting credits, and he has 35 upcoming. Isn't that nuts?
Jesus, he's still acting. He's going hard, man.
Still just fucking going. It looks like he was also in the Lincoln Lawyer, Vatican tapes, and more recently in Tenebras, Into the Darkness.
Damn, dude. Yeah, so he's just he's a working actor.
He's a machine.
He's the machine, a Terminator of acting.
Boom, 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 boom.
And then we have, you're starting to get into Mariel Hemingway, who played Janet Harrison, the mom.
Mm-hmm.
She plays Ted's sister, a proactive single mother who becomes suspicious of her brother's condition and is fiercely protective of her son and dog. Mariel was born in 1961 in Mill Valley, California.
Mill Valley.
Some of the notable filmography that I got for her is Manhattan, 1979, Personal Best in 1982, Star 80 in 1983, and then Deconstructing Harry at 1997.
Okay.
Do you recognize any of those? And then she also, the one I do remember is Superman, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, maybe that's where she looks familiar.
Yeah, I played Lacey Warfield, a businesswoman caught up in Superman's efforts to stop nuclear warfare.
The most recent thing I saw is a movie called God's Country Song that came out in 2023.
Oh, I can already tell it's probably not my kind of movie.
Mainstream.
Yeah, what else? What else you got on her?
That's all that I had on her. Nothing really like stood out. She's done a lot of stuff too, but nothing that I recognize to be like, oh yeah, I watched that.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 3, Mason Gamble, Brett Harrison. So he plays Janet's son and Thor's best friend. He's a key role in uncovering his uncle's dark secret in this movie. Like we mentioned, his notable filmography is Dennis the Menace in 1993, so 3 years before. And we have Rushmore in 1998. That's a Wes Anderson cult classic.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've seen that. It's
Fucking
classic.
knew it.
And then he was in a movie called Gattaca in 1997.
Okay.
After a promising start as a child actor, Gamble's acting career slowed down as he grew older, but his role in Dennis the Menace remains iconic. Do you have anything else? Like, did he stop acting?
I didn't find anything. I saw the most recent thing that I wrote down for him was Golf in the Kingdom, and that was back in 2010.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a minute.
Dang, so he just kind of sparingly, if anything.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
All right. This is a relatively small cast, too. Really, to round this out, there's 4 characters in this, aside from the really small, like the sheriff, the lawyer.
Primo.
Yep, 4 is Primo, baby. He plays Thor, the dog in this. He's a family's loyal and protective German shepherd who takes on a heroic role in the film, sensing the danger that Ted poses and standing between him and his family. Background for him, Primo was a real-life German shepherd cast to play Thor.
And when was he born? And where was he born?
Well,
Richard?
there isn't much information about his background. His performance in Bad Moon as the brave family dog is beloved by fans.
I did write down his other acting credits, and apparently it took them 6 months to find him.
So I do know this is his most famous role, but Go ahead, continue.
He was in a TV show called Two back in 97. When Lights Go Out in 97, The Baby Dance, Betraying Reason, Thanksgiving Family Reunion in 03, and the last credit is The Karate Dog in 05.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
What an actor.
Look at fucking him go.
Fucking primo.
He was a good actor.
Dude, he was. He was awesome. He was easily the best actor in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was he was impressive. Some of the stuff that he was doing on here.
Oh, it was incredible. So I do have the supporting cast. We won't go too terribly in depth with, but we have, I can't even say that, Hrothgar Matthews.
Mhm.
He plays Jerry, and that's Janet's love interest in the film.
What? She had a love interest?
Oh, wait, maybe not.
I thought that was the guy that played Flopsy.
Oh, it is. I don't know how I mixed that up. I don't know. And then, yeah, he plays the guy trying to, like, scam him. He's a con artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Ken Pogue, and he's Sheriff Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess he's in roles of, like, The Dead Zone in 1983 and The Silent Partner in 1978.
Okay.
And Matthews, he played in the 4400 and apparently Supernatural.
You don't fucking say.
Yeah. So these actors, they brought a mix of experience from various genres to Bad Moon, contributing to the movie's mix of horror, drama, and camp. Their diverse filmography makes it clear that while Bad Moon wasn't a blockbuster, it had a cast with solid acting chops, making it a fascinating entry in each of their careers, in my opinion. So, yeah. I mean, so what I'm gathering from you kind of for this movie, it was meh, it was boring. Like there wasn't a whole lot going on.
It wasn't
right?
boring. It was cute. There was family bonds that just, cannot be unbroken, Richard. Even if you find out that your sibling is a fucking monster.
She might blow your head off.
Yeah,
Oh,
you gotta
man.
be there. Take him in.
Fuck, dude.
And feed him.
And feed them.
And feed him. And although he was acting weird, she was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Watching him from afar.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, with the director, hopefully I got the director right. It's Eric Red.
Mm-hmm.
He was the director. Background, born February 16th in 61 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. His career, Eric Red is best known as a screenwriter and director in the thriller and horror genres. He has gained a reputation for crafting intense, gritty stories, often dealing with themes of violence, survival, and the darker sides of human nature. Red initially studied filmmaking in the AFI Conservatory in Los Angeles, which helped launch his career in the film industry. What do you have?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I got a response from Madison.
Oh my God, what is it? So we asked earlier, is she Team Edward or Team Jacob?
She said Team Jacob 1,000%.
I knew it. Well, it makes sense. She's with Orlando. Oh my God, I love it.
Sorry.
I fucking love it, dude. Good.
I'm good.
Oh.
She's gonna be like, why?
Why? Oh, no reason. We were just watching Twilight.
We were just wandering your stand.
We were thinking about you. That was the question we wanted to ask. So I got a little bit more. Red first made a name for himself with screenwriting, particularly for his work in the horror thriller genre before transitioning into directing. His penchant for creating tension-filled action-driven narratives makes him a staple in genre films from the 80s and 90s. Do you have anything on him?
I know that I've seen one other movie that he was involved with, The Hitcher.
Oh, dude, that 80s?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that movie fucks. We got to cover that. I love that movie.
That was surprisingly good.
I know, we covered it on our TikTok. We did a brief thing.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'd love to get in depth with that movie.
I know, you got really invested in
Anytime
that movie.
you can theoretically think about Jennifer Jason Leigh getting ripped apart is a good movie.
Oh my gosh.
Although, did you like Jennifer Jason Leigh? I'm sidetracking. Did you like her in Atypical?
Yeah, I mean, she did a good
kind
job
of
of being
annoying.
that mom. I mean, I think that was what she was going for.
Oh,
The overprotective, overcontrolling mom.
yeah.
I didn't realize it was her.
Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
I haven't I don't think that I've seen much of her in it. And
She's she's all over the place. But yeah. Okay, back to it. So that you've seen The Hitcher. What do you else have on him? You said you had some pretty interesting stuff.
So first film written was Gummin's Blues, which was a short story. And then when he was in school, his thesis script was actually The Hitcher, which was later produced. So that's really cool that he wrote it when he was in school.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was his project.
Yeah.
And then later on in 2007, they remade it, which I don't think that... Have you watched the remake of The Hitcher?
I haven't, but he was an executive producer on that one. Yeah,
they use him and they're still... And then from the 80s to the 2000s, he produced screenplays, Near Dark, Cohen and Tate, Blue Steel, Body Parts, The Last Outlaw. And then from there, he moved from writing to directing. And so his first feature film that I have is Cohen and Tate in 1987. And then Body Parts, Undertow, Bad Moon, and At 100 Feet.
Yeah. So it's directing. I mean, The Hitcher's great, right? But so for me, though, Near Dark is considered one of the best vampire films of the 1980s. Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
Huh.
So the fact that he co-wrote that screenplay, it's pretty awesome.
And then he moved away from film and went on to writing novels. So that's what he's been doing, because the last credits that I saw for him were in writing novels. Ganso Santa Sangre, The Wolves of El Diablo. And then the most recent was Branded in 2021. Actually, The Crimson Trail in 2021. I did see he had a pretty dramatic time of his life at one point back in the 2000s. Yeah. He was in a pretty tragic car accident. He crashed into a bar in LA and 2 people resulted dead. After the incident, he tried to take his own life by slicing his own throat with a broken glass. It went all over the media.
Jesus.
Yeah. And so there was...
that kind of slowed things down for him.
Yeah, it did. So I don't know if that's why he's been kind of...
MIA?
Yeah, it says that he survived the incident. He's been taken to the hospital and he was released under an alias weeks later. So now he's just been writing novels and kind of keeping down.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, but I'm glad he didn't die.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he found something he likes doing. Obviously, writing, he's really good at it and it's his passion. Like, dominantly, that was his career. He just ended up directing a few films, but by and large, it's writing is what he's most known for. Yeah, exactly. Along with him, the writers, so this movie, Bad Moon, if you do research, you find it out, but I don't know if people really looked that far into it. But Wayne Smith, the author of Thor, is the basis for Bad Moon, that book. This movie's based on that book. Mm-hmm. And Wayne Smith is the author of it. So what we have is primarily known for the writing of Thor in 92, the book that served as the basis for the 96 werewolf movie, Bad Moon. Not much is widely known about his personal life, as Smith tends to maintain a low profile. However, his novel Thor stands out as a unique take on the horror genre due to its original narrative perspective. The story is told from the point of view of a German Shepherd dog. Which, does he have any other books? Did you look that up?
He does. There's another book called Nightlife, but then he has this really, really long ongoing series called Rifts, and there's a lot of volumes on that.
Really? Yeah. So he's still writing?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to read it. I don't know. This is the only thing I didn't even know he even existed. I didn't know he was a guy.
Fuck that, man.
I know. I should look a little bit more into it because I really do I like this movie, so I can imagine I like his style. Now, the movie's probably the book's probably a little more different, but...
yeah.
So if you hear Angelus giggling, she just got a picture from Madison, her sister-in-law, with a picture of her posing with cutouts of Team Jacob and Team Edward.
I think it's a picture from Forks when they visited.
Yeah. It's hilarious. She had to be in what, 15?
I stirred a pot. Yeah. I just asked Team Jacob or Team Edward. And then she's like, what are you? And then she sent me a picture. And then there's all this background posters in the picture. Is this Twilight in the movie?
I will be like, I'm Team Hufflepuff.
She's hugging a cutout of Potter. She's hugging a cutout of Jacob.
Oh my God. She's a nerd just like us. I love
she
it.
is.
I
For
love it.
vampires and for werewolves.
For werewolves. That's hilarious. Oh, man, we got through that pretty quick. What else do you have?
Let's see. So I did see that they ended up cutting a few seconds of sex from the movie and gore.
Just a few? Because
Just
there's
a
a pretty,
few.
we're going to cover it. There's a pretty aggressive scene in the
was
beginning.
intense. In order to move it down, in order to avoid it in an NC-17 rating.
They were dangerously close.
That was a lot of sex, man.
Yeah.
I was like, Richard, my eyeballs.
What the hell?
I know.
I forgot all about that when
I thought it was a
suggested
family
it.
movie because you're like, yeah, Thor, it protects the family. And then I start watching. I'm like, what the hell?
So the beginning's kind of
I
other
was
than
not
the fact
expecting that.
other than the fact of the origins of his like werewolf isms does play no part in anything else really.
Okay.
I think they just wanted to plug in that that fornication.
We're like, let's do this for the adults.
Yeah.
I did also see that the movie. So I think part of why the movie didn't do so great. It opened the day after Halloween and spent
people are over it.
spent almost nothing on marketing. So
Fucking bastards.
there was a comment from Red that he wasn't like entirely surprised when it failed to find an audience in theaters. It was after Halloween.
Well,
and kind of
I think I have a couple things too. Like, sorry to cut you off. With this movie, the marketing didn't help, but also it was kind of dated by this time. You got to remember, 96, I believe Jurassic Park is out. You have more of the CGI stuff coming.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a transition, and this movie still is stuck in that 80s werewolf transitions and practical effects. So I think it was kind of hampered that way. People were kind of about it. They're like, well, you got to show us something new here. And I don't think it got a fair shake until later, like they were saying, it got a cult following. But I think there was some factors here that definitely hampered its abilities.
The movie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it got a fair shake altogether, but that's just my opinion on it.
Okay.
Yeah, what else you got?
And then also, so Steve Johnson of XFX was hired to do the werewolf suit and the prosthetics. He also participated in the movie Slimmer by so he was in there. So they liked him for his practical effects, and they brought him in, and he joined them.
Slimmer or thinner?
It says Slimmer.
Slimmer. Oh, I was thinking thinner. You know what I'm talking about? That Stephen King, I think.
I thought that's what it was. Maybe not.
Thinner Man or whatever.
Yeah. Apparently, the wolf was 8 feet tall.
Well,
that's
so we're going to post pictures that you found. Did you save those?
Yeah, I saved some of them.
We're going to show you pictures on our socials showing how big this costume was. You can see the person in it. I thought that was a pretty cool perspective I've never seen before.
Oh, yeah. How he got in there. They said, I read somewhere else, one of the clips talked that it was, he liked it better because they got a better like effect while doing the movie, more of a reaction and natural movement with having someone be inside the suit rather than just being straight animatronics.
Well, so I do want to come back on that transition, the werewolf. It was kind of lackluster towards the end of this movie when you see the transition, because it just shows him standing there straight up and you just see shoulders up, and then all of a sudden it's his face. And then it shows like a morph, but it's not even a good morph. It's just like they do digitally do it, but you can tell it's that cheesy 80s kind of digitalness.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns into the werewolf.
It's a little, it was a little creepy. Like it wasn't like full on, but I was like, ugh.
Yeah, but it's not like American Werewolf in London. You remember that werewolf transition. It's the best. So obviously you can't meet that standard, but you can get relatively close. You know what I mean? The Howling does a great job. There's other movies that do a great job of the transition. I feel like they cut a corner right there, and they could have done a better job. Because that's what when I see a werewolf movie, that's what I want to see is him morphing into the werewolf.
It was still, I think, I'm talking about the scene where it's just his face and he has like the contacts
and the teeth
and like and
that
like
is
a little bit of the face. You can tell he has some stuff like going on his face.
He's got yellowing of the eyes, like he's got jaundice.
Yeah. Jaundice. I was like, what the fuck?
Let's see what I got. Just going through my notes real quick. Primo.
Apparently there was a couple of places throughout the movie. I didn't catch them, spoofs that happened. One of the scenes where at the beginning when we see Thor and he's jumping on the scammer, some people pointed out that you can see that he's wearing a harness.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it. And when Brett is trying to jump a fence later on in the movie, that there's like a person in a black bodysuit holding him up over the fence.
So I did find in my notes that the budget did play a part. It limited some of the scope, especially when it came to effects and action sequences. Comparison, like I was saying, The Howling and American Werewolf in London both had more substantial budgets, allowing for more complex transformation sequences. Location shoots and makeup effects, Bad Moon keeps it contained to one primary location and features smaller scale confrontations. Werewolf movie on a budget, man. So that's kind of what hindered it too. I think it could have been better that way.
You think it's still a masterpiece?
Yes, I still enjoy it.
Okay. I respect your opinion, Ricardo.
Thank you. I respect you too.
Oh, thanks.
Well, with that, we're 38 minutes in. We kind of cruised through it, which is cool. Do you want to take a break real quick?
Sure.
And we'll get to our plots and scene for scene?
Sure.
All right, I like it. Are we going to get an appearance from Vienna's Review Corner?
I think so, after she's fed.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I can't wait. Sorry, guys, we missed her last week, but she had a dance she was going to, so priorities, man, priorities. But all right, we will be right back. Is the full moon turning you into a hairy beast? Finding fur in places you didn't even know could grow hair?
Yeah, like when your back hair starts creeping all the way down to your huevos?
Exactly, Angelus. Don't worry, because at Lunar Lifestyle Solutions, we've got you covered. Literally, introducing Mange Control, the only grooming line strong enough for a werewolf's problem areas.
From taming that full moon back bush to keeping things smooth around your pajarito, our silver blade racers can handle it all.
Because nothing ruins a night of howling at the moon like a mess down near the Joyas de la Familia.
Ew, Richard. But hey, at least you've got our fur taming gel. It'll keep you silky smooth even in those rough nights when your colita gets a little too wild.
Works wonders on the old tail, too. Gotta keep things sleek for the maximum wagging potential.
Oh, is that what we're calling it now? Either way, Lunar Lifestyle Solutions, Mange Control will leave you smoother than a silver bullet.
Because even werewolves deserve to feel manscaped and magnificent.
Lunar Lifestyle Solutions, taming the beast, one parte privada at a time.
All right, we're back from the break.
Cheers, compadre.
No, that was fun. Do you want to tell the people what we did on our break here?
We fucking ran away.
We did.
We went to a haunted house.
That was fun, though. I had a blast there. That one, although small, was fucking awesome. Do we want to give them a shout out?
Yes, we do.
Yes, they're really awesome. I believe they're followers of our page.
No, they got you.
I know.
Pretty good. All I kept hearing behind me was screaming and screaming.
But that's how I am in scary haunted houses.
Scary haunted houses. Yeah, if you guys are not following, Night Market and Street Fair, they put together during the summer. I think today was the last one of the season. This nighttime vendors and markets, and each one has a different theme. So today was the Monster Bash. And the haunted house was put on by Crime Scene Entertainment, the Haunted Hall.
Yeah, give them a follow. Crime Scene Entertainment. Yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. We got some good fucking snacks, baked goods.
Yeah, that pumpkin spice churro, baby.
The churro.
I had some cool stuff there. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't win the giveaway, though.
Well, we don't know. Did they call you?
No. What?
They didn't call me.
Yeah, I didn't know I gave him my number.
I know. I gave him mine.
Oh.
There was a lady in front of me. She had like 10 of those tickets filled out.
Oh, she really wanted that shit.
She did.
I wasn't that passionate about it. It was just a picture of like Freddy Krueger.
It was all
Jason
the
Voorhees.
all the villains.
All the horror icons.
It was pretty cool.
Mm.
It's about supporting
I know.
the local vendors and the artists.
I know.
Okay.
If you wanted it badly, we could have dropped 100 if you wanted. You could just tell me.
Whoa.
We'll take it home right there.
Big baller over here.
Ballin', baby. Anyways, we are back. That was fun. Going to that street fair. Or what was it? Street market?
Street and fair market.
Night street fair market.
Oh my god. Night street fair market.
This was your thing. I was just tagging along. I don't know what the name was. Can you repeat it?
It's the night market and street fair.
Okay, perfect.
You got it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do we want to get to our plots now?
There's plots in this show? That's crazy. Don't look at me like that.
Dude, chastise this movie one more time.
I'm not chastising it. I said we have plots.
Yes. Did you have time to write this one?
I wrote a plot.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's a beautiful.
You know what I say to that?
It's big too.
Raise hell, praise Dale, baby.
Ooh,
Ooh-wee.
I think you should go first because this is like
Wow.
your movie.
No.
I want to see if mine is good or not.
Go ahead.
Me. Okay. Here we have Bad Moon. In this remake episode of Scooby-Doo and the Werewolf, we follow the story of Brett and Thor, who make quite the loyal duo as they embark on the adventure of a lifetime. After Uncle Ted stops by to visit, Thor's radar goes way off as he senses something is not quite right with good old Uncle Ted. After tireless hours of stalking Ted, which realistically in today's day it would warrant a protection order, Thor follows Ted into the woods and makes a gruesome discovery, and zoinks! Why, Uncle Ted is a werewolf in disguise. In an effort to protect his family, Thor has quite the pissing and staring competition with Uncle Ted until they can't help but to engage in the ultimate WWE match.
Ruh-roh.
Will Thor become the victor and conquer the mask Ted wears? Or will the rage of the werewolf overtake the cute German shepherd? Find out by watching the movie.
Okay, I like it. I like the blend. That was pretty good.
You know, painfully disappointed.
No, it was great. It was great. I thought you were just gonna like totally shit on it. So no, that was perfect. I like it. Okay. Are you ready for mine?
What's up?
Oh my god.
Wait, I gotta blow off the smoke from my gun.
Oh my god. All right, here's mine. When Ted shows up at his sister Janet's house for an impromptu visit, he's not just bringing family drama. He's dragging a whole new meaning to having skeletons in the closet. Ted's secret? He's harboring a hairy little issue. And no, we're not talking about the unfortunate back waxing incident.
Oh my god.
As night falls, strange things begin to start happening, and the real MVP of the household, Thor, the family's little German shepherd, senses that something's off with Uncle Ted. Forget your run-of-the-mill family tension. This is more, I might eat you in your sleep levels of awkward. And Thor's on it, sniffing out the danger like it's a butt at a dog park. Except this time, something smells really wrong.
Oh my god.
While Janet's just trying to be a good sister and keep the peace, Thor's out here playing guard dog, detective, and therapist, sniffing out all the red flags. Or should I say, rough flags.
Stupid.
As tension rises, Ted's nightly activities get a little too wild, and it's up to Thor to protect his family from a problem even bigger than your brother moving in and never leaving.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, at least this time, it's not just the dog who gets sent to the couch. Ted's got more bigger problems. I say much bigger problems, not more bigger problems. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
How was it? I mean, it wasn't as good as your Scooby
You
mix
like
tape. That was good.
Do I get the point today?
I'll give it to you. Except I like danger like it's a butt at a dog park. He sniffs that shit out.
He sniffs it out.
No, kudos.
Good job. Snap clap, snap clap.
Snap clap, snap clap, snap clap.
Snappa, snappa clappa.
Okay, so do we want to go in that scene Foul scene.
My glasses were fogging up. Did you see that one lens?
Oh my god, we're going
It's
off the
foggy.
rail. First time listeners, we kind of get sidetracked. We both have ADHD. Mine's medically diagnosed. Hers isn't.
Yours isn't
Yes, it is.
by yourself.
Oh my
Dr.
God.
Richard.
I went to a doctor, okay?
Oh, okay. I did too. Dr. Angelus.
Stupid.
Oh my god, it's fogging up again.
Okay, so for the movie, man, we are flowing through this. Kind of like the movie, how it was nice and fast paced the whole time.
Was it?
The pacing was incredible.
It was? I just like getting the reactions from you. That sad eye glare. Focus, Richard. We're talking about the scene by scene. Go ahead. You get it going. This is a podcast. People can't see the awkward silence. Come on.
This is it. This is Richard Snaps.
And I laughed through it.
Oh my god. Huh. Okay, the opening scene, we pan into Ted in the jungle.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Right? He's with what appears to be a native tribe. Do we know what jungle he's in?
Did they say? I don't remember.
I don't know. The movie begins in the jungle where Ted, a photojournalist, is on an expedition with his girlfriend. During an intimate moment in their tent, a werewolf attacks, brutally killing Ted's girlfriend. Ted manages to kill the werewolf, but he is severely injured, hinting at his curse. Now with this is what we were talking about earlier. Like, there is a super raunchy sex scene that's happening there. It looks like they're having a good time. And then they hear a knock at the tent, right?
It's a little scratch.
Yeah, a little shadow. You see the werewolf shadow coming in. He scratches open the tent. The girl screams. And then she gets clawed right away, right?
No, he screams first because they're doing this whole.
Oh, yeah, he's like, ah!
She's on top of him.
You see his O face, I
So
think.
he sees the thing come from behind her.
Yeah. You totally have the, oh!
And the werewolf reaches in and grabs her. And as he does.
He does, and he's kind of holding it kind of like you would see a bank robber holding a hostage. It's kind of like that.
Was she naked through this entire thing?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Her fake breasts were all over the place
Were
on
they
the
fake?
screen. Oh, yeah, those things are fake. Come on, man.
I wasn't paying attention.
They were like hard looking. Like, you know what I'm talking about? They looked like Barbie.
That close attention. She was young.
I'm in it for the details, okay? You can just tell fake, dude. I'm telling you.
Were the nipples the right size, Richard?
You know, they were, but they were just placed weird. That was weird.
Oh, were they just kind of lopsided?
Yeah, just
Looking
didn't
at
look
different
right.
ways?
I don't know, guys. I'm curious to see what your opinion is on this. Please reach out to us. Anyways, the werewolf has her hostage, and he's like tearing her apart, pretty much scratching her.
Scratching her over and over.
She's screaming, and then all of a sudden, does she get her head torn off?
No, Ted comes out and he's trying to fight the thing.
Oh yeah, and then the werewolf hits him back.
Back, my lover.
The werewolf hits him back, and the gun's right there.
So he crawls to it.
Yeah, he's crawling to the gun. At this point, she gets her throat ripped out, right? And she's pretty much dead.
She's just gushing blood, and then he pops it like a Barbie.
Wait, what?
Her head out.
Yeah, her head does pop off, right?
Yeah, it pulls it off.
Yeah, and it goes flying. And then at this point, Ted's like, "No, my girlfriend," and he's already clawed. So he aims down with his 12-gauge shotgun, shoots it, and blasts the werewolf's head off. It explodes. It's pretty awesome.
And that's all you see?
Yeah, you didn't like that when the werewolf's head exploded? I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's like a pumpkin getting smashed.
There's just something so satisfying about it. I was like, I could watch that over and over again.
Oh my
that was
gosh.
cool. Yeah, so the fact here, I have a fact. This jungle sequence sets a darker tone than most werewolf films. The attack is fast and brutal, establishing Bad Moon as a film that doesn't shy away from violence early on. So there's a quote after the attack. Ted, in disbelief, whispers to himself, "It's happening again."
After this scene?
Yeah, I think he does.
I didn't.
It's happening.
I missed that.
So now we get back to
The Pacific Northwest.
yeah.
Unknown, unnamed town.
Yeah. Do you have your notes?
And then we see Brett. We meet Brett and Thor.
Yeah, they're outside in front of their house, right? On their, what would you call it? Driveway. They're on their driveway. But they're kind of tucked in. So this looks very wilderness. So this is where the scene kind of feels weird because it does not look residential.
No.
And
they're like filthy rich and they can afford a house in the middle of nowhere.
so this dude comes walking up and he's like, well, hello there. Trying to be all nice. And
He's also scoping up the place.
yeah, he's casing it. He's looking like this is a good opportunity. You know something's up, right? Immediately Thor's like, what the fuck? What, man? He's like coming up like, knuck if you buck, son.
Yeah, well, and he makes a comment too. He's like, oh, you got a big dog.
Yeah, and that was kind of his opportunity. You could kind of see he's angling. And then he's like, he goes to pet the dog. No, because then Brett's mom comes down, Janet. And she's like, hey, how you doing? Who are you? Why are you talking to my kid?
You weirdo.
Right? And he's like, oh, he says something.
He's selling magazines.
Yeah, that's right.
Of like the area, and it has everything. This is where we get that it's in the Pacific Northwest. It's a regional magazine, and it has everything you need to know about the area. And he's like, you want to get a membership and blah 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 blah. And he's going on, and she's like, no, thank you. Yeah,
he's like, oh, that's a cute dog, and goes to pet it, knowing that the dog's already kind of irritated with him. And then Thor lashes out at him, but doesn't bite him. He acts like the dog does.
Well, he tantalizes the dog too, though, because he's like, do you want to see it? And he lifts up his suitcase purposely. Right. And after she does not look interested in his magazines, and he snaps the clips open really loud. Yeah. And he's making direct eye contact with the dog. And when he does that, the dog has a reaction.
Yeah.
And Janet's trying to hold the dog back. And when she reaches down to get Thor to stay calm, the guy, he raises his arm again to kind of make it like a threat.
Like he's going to attack, yeah.
That's when Thor jumps on him and pushes him back.
Which, Thor is like, they mention it, he's like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Dude, that dog is huge. Would you ever want a dog that size?
I don't know.
I think it'd be cool, but at the same time, you can never have a yard.
Oh, yeah.
Just tear the shit out of that, man. It's constant maintenance.
Yeah, and he falls to the ground, and he's like, oh my god, your dog, he bit me. And she's
your fucking dog
really?
Bit me. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I did. And she was like, pauses, and she's like, processing.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you're going to hear from my lawyer, or I'm going to go get a lawyer. I'm going to sue the pants off you. And she's like, oh, really? Okay. And she reaches into her thing. She's like, I'm a lawyer too. Here's my card. You can be dealing with me.
She's like, how about you're on your feet? I'll take you to the doctor.
Yeah.
I'll take you to my family doctor, and we'll settle this out.
He's like, no, I have a doctor. So pretty much she's pretty smart. She's been around the block. She could spot this guy a mile away and was pretty much suited to take care of this punk.
She also calls him out. She's like, I've heard enough of you, Flopsy. So it's known.
Yeah, he's flopping. He's faking it.
And Brett's like, what is that? And she's like, it's a scammer. They go around, they put themselves in harm's way, and then try to sue people for it.
Like jump in rental cars, get bit by dogs.
So that's you, my friend. Get the fuck out. And she's like, how about this, Brett? Call the sheriff. Tell him it's me.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Yeah, just tell the sheriff we have a little issue here. He'll come down, straighten this right out. The guy's like, gotta go.
Yeah. And he's like, you'll be hearing from me. She's like, all right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
See you later. But she's like, I bet you don't want to hear from the sheriff. There's something, doesn't she make that comment?
Yeah, and so the guy leaves. He's all pissy, throwing a fit about it.
Yeah. So
prior to getting to Janet's house, we do see we made a comment on this. So after this scene with Ted and the werewolf, there's like some random guy in the middle of the night measuring trees.
So yeah, and this is weird. This is where like, yes, there's full moons every night, and we have, I'm pretty sure union workers
out at
going
night
in the woods. Measuring trees. What I'm assuming for the next night, it could be early morning, and maybe he's getting a start so people behind him are going to start cutting. It could be that.
I know what. We do live in the Pacific Northwest, and sometimes the sun in the winter does not come up until what?
And I don't know if it looks like it's becoming fall.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a little chilly. So it could be the case. It just, the sun isn't up yet. But anyways, this guy's walking around, not really paying attention. And then all of a sudden, he's measuring a tree, right? And then right above him, it's like alien style. Like he feels a couple of drips of like drool, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the werewolf, Ted, picks him up.
Just crushes his little head.
That's right. With the helmet on, right? The hard hat.
Yeah.
That was cool.
You like that?
Yeah. So he's done for.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we see after that?
The next day, Ted calls Janet, and he's feeling very emotional.
He's sounding like he's, gonna.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's very sad.
He's gonna noose it up. Let's just say.
And he's like, I love you. And she's like, where I thought like you were out of town. As far as she know, he's still traveling outside of the country.
Yeah, she didn't realize
and
it.
She didn't realize he was in town, and he's like, yeah, like we can
I've been
come over
here
and
for
visit.
3 months. He's
Yeah.
been in the state for 3 months.
So she's like, all right, yeah, we'll come and visit you.
Yeah.
And so they drive over. Apparently, he's also in Washington.
Yeah.
And
well, so originally we'll cover it, I think, but they're from Chicago originally.
yeah, so she drives over, and we see he's living in a very nice RV, but again, it's
An
parked,
Airstream, yeah.
it's parked in the middle of nowhere next to a lake.
And where
And
was
there's
the
no-
vehicle that towed this thing?
Yeah, what about the drainage and all that stuff? Like, it's not
It's
set up at all.
1996.
Still, man, you got stinky poo-poo in there.
You got caca in there.
Unless he's going and digging a hole in the woods.
Oh, I'm assuming probably. So
And-
yeah, he's like, you need to come visit me. I'm really stressed out.
Yeah, so they show up, and they're like, oh my god, I loved you and I missed you so much, and they're mingling.
And right off the bat, though, Thor is jumping out, and he goes straight to the spot, sniffing around, and Ted gets nervous. He's looking over there
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't want Thor to find the dead bodies. Because there's multiple, but we don't know that yet. We know there's only one, but we're going to know later that there's multiple.
Yeah, and so Ted and Janet, they're cooking, and this is where Janet says that, ever since they moved from Chicago, it was a good move, but Brett doesn't have a lot of friends yet.
Just a second. It's not a full moon every night, is it?
No, it just, throughout the movie, it is noticed that it happens
A
occasionally.
full moon? Because he even references that, werewolves, that's a myth. It just doesn't happen on full moons. It happens every night.
Yeah. So they're cooking, yeah, and so this is where we learned that they moved from Chicago. And while they're outside cooking, and she's mentioned that Brett has had a hard time, like, making friends where they are. But it's a lot safer. They're in the middle of nowhere.
It's nice to have peace and quiet.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to live here. There's a lot of benefits that outweigh the cons.
Yeah, and Ted has, like, another emotional speech and tells her that he's so proud of her.
The best
She's doing
sister
a
in
really
the
good
world.
job of raising Brett. And it's just amazing. And he's just been struggling a lot. And she's like, yeah, what happened to your girlfriend? And he's like, oh, she's traveling. It's just me now. Meanwhile,
Yeah, he doesn't admit she got slaughtered. But later, and sorry, jumping
you're
ahead.
spoiling everything, man.
Fine, I won't spoil it.
Just wait your fucking turn.
Okay, Amangita.
In the meantime, Brett's inside by himself, just exploring through the RV. He's just taking pictures, looking around.
Yeah, and then he opens behind this curtain. He's like, oh, sweet. And he looked at this like laboratory, it looks like. It's a lab.
Yeah, there's like a microscope, blood samples.
And then there's this big, thick book. And he takes the book down, and it's about werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, whoa, this is cool. Just looking at the pictures. He finds one in particular. It's kind of like savage.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Thor never came inside. Thor has been outside the woods
Wandering.
sniffing around.
Yeah, he knows something's up, dude. He can smell it.
Yeah, and then we see that he does make it to a tree, and he looks up, and there's like body pieces. I'm assuming from the guy from the forest
Yeah.
ranger that he crushed.
And the dog's on high alert at this moment.
Oh yeah, so
Implying that this dog is super intelligent, hyper intelligent.
he comes back and finds Brett, and he's like, buddy. And then Janet and Ted come back inside, and this is where you get their first, like, standoff. Ted comes inside, and he's like, oh my god, it's Thor. Come here, buddy. And Thor is very standoffish. He doesn't want to get close.
Well, now, because when they first came, Thor ran up to him, was happy to see him. He's like, yes, what's up? And then, after the body incident, like you're saying, now he tries to get him again, and now he's skittish. He's like, I don't want to go near you.
Yeah, and Janet, she's like, oh, you know, Thor, he's just really, really protective of us.
Yeah.
And then Ted, throughout the movie, he makes little comments here and there. He's like, oh, he's like an old dog knows when he sees one.
Yeah.
Like recognizing that he
one
also
old dog
has
to another.
Acknowledging that he's another monster.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Ted is like, all right, guys, well, thanks for coming over. It was good seeing you. It's getting late. Get the fuck out of here. And they're like, well, really? Like, you're rushing us off? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It was really good to see you. And so they go home, Janet and Brett.
Mm-hmm.
She gets home, and then Ted calls her, again, all emotional. Because I think, like you're saying, he's done.
Yeah.
And he's just really glad that they came over.
He's
and
like,
meant
I'm
a
just
lot.
so happy you came over. Family is all I got.
Yeah.
He's like, it's family. It's going to get me through
like,
things.
are you okay? And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, it's fine. And then you see outside the lake by his RV.
And there's a shit ton of cops. The whole police force in that town came, and they're investigating those dead bodies.
But he doesn't say this. He's just like, everything's fine. And she's like, dude, just come on over and visit us for a few days.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not taking no for an answer. You're going to come down. You're going to park your trailer in my backyard. Things are going to be good. You're going to stay for a while.
Yeah. And so he's like, all right. So he does drive over, which I was surprised. I mean,
how do you drive over, though? Because we don't see he doesn't have a vehicle.
Magic, man.
It's fucking amazing.
He turned into a werewolf and he carried the fucking thing over.
I just don't understand. They could have followed up with that. I don't know.
But he does park next to her house, like in the backyard. And she's inside the RV with him, talking to him. And
she's like, I'm so happy you're here. This is a good thing.
Yeah, and Thor's in there. He's sniffing the entire place. And he's like, I'm checking you out.
And he's not really high alarm just yet, but he knows something's up.
Yeah, and she's like, why don't you come on over for dinner? And he's like, no, I'm going to go run all night long.
Do you say all night long? No, he's like, I'm just going to go for a run.
No, but like, that's what happened.
Well, yeah, and so he does. And this is one of those first trips. Thor isn't on a high alert just yet, though, right? He does get skittish.
He goes back home, and he just sits at the window.
He sits at the window, and he starts barking, like he wants to go out, and she's like, Jesus, Thor, all right, I'm going to let you outside. He takes off running.
And follows Ted.
Yeah, and figures out where Ted's at. And now, this is where we kind of see that first. We don't really see much, right?
No, you do.
You do see the werewolf?
Mm-hmm, because...
And Thor's barking like a motherfucker. He's like, dude, motherfucker.
No, he's staying very quiet at first.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He walks up, sees Ted as a werewolf.
Yeah.
Handcuffed to the tree.
And he kind of backs up.
He's very, very quiet. And so he quietly walks up there. He gets very close. And they make eye contact. They acknowledge each other. And the wolf just like growls at it. Thor barks. And Janet's coming out into the woods because it's been late and Thor didn't come back. So she's looking for him.
And Thor, being as smart as he is in this movie, he's like, oh, shit. And runs back to her so she doesn't come see the werewolf.
Yeah.
But he's still like, he wants to be there and he wants to like shoo this thing off. He's protective. So he's ready to fight this werewolf. But he doesn't get his chance here. They go inside. Mm-hmm. He still acts pretty skittish. What it sounds like he was barking all night.
Yeah, and so the next day, Janet's making breakfast for Brett, and
Ted comes in, right?
Thor's just sitting, watching the fucking RV.
The trailer, and he does this. This will be a continued theme. He's just staring at this trailer.
And this is when Thor, eventually, they let him out for a bit.
And he pees on the tire.
He does. And then he comes back.
He's like, this is dominance, dog.
And they're watching the news. Janet has the news going while she's making breakfast. And this is where she learns about all the bodies that they found in the woods by where Ted was.
And she's mortified. She's like, what? You didn't tell me this, Ted?
Yeah, she's like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, yeah, I didn't know. And he tries to brush it off. And he pretends like nothing happened.
Yeah, he's like, no, that's okay. And like, because they're saying on the news that a large animal
They killed
Was
like
mauling
5
everybody.
They
Yeah.
found 5 people so far, and he's like, "Oh, well, since there's all of this going on, he's like, can I stay here until they clear out the curfew? Because there's a curfew now."
Always like, I guess I gotta stay here longer.
Yeah, and so he's there. They're gonna have breakfast, and this is where Brett is watching a werewolf movie. And Ted sat next to him, and he's watching the movie with him, and he laughs, and he's like, "Ho ho!" He's like,
yeah,
"That's
Brett's
ridiculous."
Yeah.
He's like a full moon.
Yeah, and Brett's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. He's like, why does it have to be a full moon? He's like, why can't it be any moon? And Brett's like doing this stereotype, oh, you need a silver bullet and blah, blah, blah. And Ted is like, well, what if you shoot it in the face? Because that's what he did to the werewolf that scratched him.
Blow his head off.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, is Janet listening to this conversation?
Yeah. And even Brett's like, well, how do you know? He's like, werewolves are not real. Have you ever met one? And then Janet makes a comment that she heard Thor barking all night long.
Yeah.
And then, so here I do have a note that the movie that Brett's actually watching, it's the Werewolf in London, the 1935. And yeah, so
he mentions, he's like, yeah, full moons are bullshit. It happens every night.
But he does say something here that he's carrying. So he tells Janet, like, maybe don't let Brett go out into the woods at night. It could be dangerous. Like, there's a curfew where I was parked, and like, there's
she's
dead
like,
bodies.
you really think that animal could travel this far, 200 miles?
Yeah, and he's kind of vague, but at the same time, he's kind of serious. He's like, dude, just listen to me. He's like, what about gray wolves? They were like 200 pounds.
Yeah, and when she's like, I got Thor, he's 100 pounds. He's like, well, gray wolves, they're like 200 pounds. And then he's like, you know what? Just because there's no animals right now that can harm you doesn't mean they weren't here and will be here.
And that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah. And so she's like, whoa, that's weird.
Ted goes home, and then we're assuming that sometime later he comes out again, and he has his running outfit, his gray sweatpants, and the gray crew neck sweater, and he has the handcuffs in his hand, and he walks out, and Thor's sitting outside.
Did you mention the handcuffs? I think you did when he first got here, and she chuckled. Janet did. She's like, oh, you're kinky, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you're into.
Mm-hmm. So they kind of do this like staring back and forth, and Ted goes inside to wait and see if Thor will go away, and he doesn't.
So yeah, Thor is sitting outside this RV all day, and Ted just keeps looking out the window. Okay, I gotta go. Finally, it's getting to the point where it's getting dusk, and it's starting to get dark. So Ted now just gets out.
Yeah, and he calls Johnny. He's like, dude, come get your fucking dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a run. Go get your dog.
Yeah, and Johnny calls Thor inside. So then Ted takes off. And then as soon as Ted leaves, Thor starts freaking out and he's barking. Brett doesn't know what just happened. So he's like, oh, buddy, you want to go outside? And he lets him out.
Yeah.
And this is where we see Thor goes out again fucking chasing him.
Bolt. Yeah.
And we just see pieces of clothing from Ted that he left on a trail.
And he left in a hurry, like, because it was late, so he just had to strip his clothes off running, and because it made it look like he was starting to transform.
Yeah. And then back at Janet's house, you hear like growling, and they always give you this angle of the camera when it's Thor's point of view, and then sometimes the werewolf. So you get like an outside look towards the house, and there's some lights, and so Janet hears a noise and she turns off what looks like emergency lights because they're really, really bright.
Yeah.
And then she finds Thor outside. Did they have a face-off here? Because I have my notes that she finds Thor and he has blood on him.
Yeah, this time they do have a face-off, and yeah, Thor kind of gets beat up. He has blood all over him. He runs to Janet, and Janet's like, whoa, Thor, what happened? What happened to you, dude? And she's cleaning him up. And at this time, what did they call him? Flopsy? We'll just call him Flopsy.
Well, not yet. That's a little bit further down.
No, because this is when he gets hurt. Because this sets up, because Flopsy comes, because this is how Thor gets taken away. Because that's when he gets hurt. Remember? Because now Flopsy gets killed and mauled.
I know that's the next day.
So then they haven't had the interaction yet, because that was kind of the first time they had the interaction, right?
No, prior to that. So Thor comes back and he has blood. She calls the sheriff, and remember, Thor goes inside and sits on top of Brett, like being protective in his bed.
Yes.
And that's the end of that scene. And so Jenna goes to check on Ted because she's a little worried. And that's where she walks inside his RV and he's not there. She starts kind of going through his stuff. And she finds pictures of him and Marjorie.
And she's like, oh, Ted, you naughty bastard.
Through them.
Yeah, and then it's brutal pictures. So who takes a picture of that? But it was his dead girlfriend just mauled.
Was it her? Or I was under the impression maybe it was other victims that he's had.
No, that was his dead girlfriend. And then, well, it could have been other victims, but...
she keeps flipping and flipping.
So it was probably other victims too, but the first one that we do see is his girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah, you just see her face. She looks mortified as she's flipping through the other pictures. And then she finds what seems to be his diary that he's keeping. And then on the last page, he was very emotional. And then he writes in there that he's done like blood tests. He's visited doctors. So he's been trying to work on this thing.
Yeah, the diary is kind of going day by day. He's like day 3 or whatever, October 15th.
By the time she was done flipping through it sounds like it's been a few years.
So
because they went from like 93, 94, 95 were the years for some of the entries that she was reading. And I was like, holy crap, it's been years.
Has it? I don't know. Maybe I missed that, but I only thought it was a matter of a few months. But he's to the point where he's exhausted everything. He's like, maybe if I spend time with family, that this can kind of cure my ailment, what's happening.
Yeah, so he thinks family love is what's gonna make it all better.
Yeah. It's his last ditch effort, essentially.
Yeah, she walks out. She's freaked out by everything that she found. And she goes back home, and this is where we see Flopsy.
Yeah.
Around her house. And this fucking guy goes up to the doghouse with a butcher knife.
And a piece of meat.
Yeah, and...
He's like, nobody makes me look like a fool.
Lo and behold, fucking werewolf is there.
Because he's calling Thor. He's like, come here, doggy, come here. And then he's like, you're behind me. And turns around and he's like, what the fuck? And it was this giant werewolf. Mm-hmm. And then he gets his throat gashed, right?
And his hand, like, all mangled.
Oh, dude, yeah, his fingers get chopped off. That was tight.
Yeah.
Or sliced off, I guess.
So the next day, the sheriff comes over finally, since she called him the night before. And she's like, dude, fucking took you forever. And he's like, do you know the man on this picture? And he's like, it's the guy that you reported, the Flopsy dude. She was like, yeah. And he's like, we found him dead at the end of the road close to your house. And she's like,
on the highway or whatever, the main road.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, remember that he remembers, the sheriff that she mentioned that the last time he was around, like, the guy accused Thor of biting him. He's like, do you think, like, your dog could have done this? And Jenna was like, I think Thor got in a fight with something, and, like, again, like she mentioned, he had blood on him, and he has cuts all over himself. And she's like, hey, do you know anything about all the dead hikers, like, on the other area? And
he's like, yeah, they got mauled by something.
Yeah, she's like, was it possible that it was a human? And he's like, no, man, there's no way that was a person.
But he's kind of implying that Thor could do that, and
the dead guy, the Flopsy dude.
And I don't believe Thor or any dog could do that level. I mean, sure they can, but do you really think this was a level of attack that was?
Well, he said, Thor is really protective of you. Maybe he could have.
And he's like, once a dog gets a taste for blood, they don't stop.
Mm-hmm. So she did let Thor out after this because the sheriff leaves. He just came and told her that they found this guy dead.
Yeah.
And Thor heads directly to the RV. And then Ted comes out. And Jenna goes up and she's like, hey, dude, like, where were you? I came looking for you. And he's like, oh, I was running.
And she was suspicious already anyways, because that's why she asked the sheriff if a human could have done it, because her brother was gone all night.
Yeah, and she's like, did you see anything? Did you hear anything weird? He's like, no. But then he looks at freaking Thor and winks, and Thor attacks him. And he bites his arms, and he's like bleeding a ton. And Jen is like fighting to hold back Thor and takes him back home.
Yeah,
She locks him in the bathroom. And it looks like hours went by.
And he did that on purpose, too, to finally push her over the edge and get rid of the dog.
Yeah, so next thing you know, animal control is there taking Thor.
And you have a fun fact on this.
Yeah, so the people that play the animal control, they're actually Primo's real trainers.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
But at this point, Brett's crying. He's like, no, my dog. And all of a sudden you see Ted walk out and he's got a smirk on his face and he just waves. He's like, bye,
His
bitch.
arm over Janet, like, ho, I won this round.
And Thor's just going fucking berserk, dude. He's like, you motherfucker. He's just going hard.
Janet doesn't really, like, fully fucking buy it. She had this look on her face like, bitch.
Yeah, he's like, dude. And she can tell something's off. I don't think she fully believes Thor did that. But there's no way of proving it. And so, unfortunately,
she has to take action,
Yeah, we got to get rid of the dog. Which kind of sucks because he's going to be sent away to be put down. That's what they do to those dogs.
Jesus. So we do see fucking Ted goes over to the doghouse. He pees all over it. Doing it back.
Yeah, display his dominance. Yeah, that was a funny part. Now, does the dinner scene happen here?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the weird scene. So they're all having dinner. They're quiet. Brett's clearly still upset.
Oh, yeah.
Janet's quiet. They're all just quiet. It's weird. It's awkward. And then Janet leaves to grab, they're eating dessert.
Mm-hmm.
And Janet leaves to go grab some, I think. And then Ted is like, hey, Brett, come here. And Brett's hesitant. He's fucking he's sad and doesn't really want to interact. And he's like, come here. Like, he gets aggressive. Like, it was weird. You know, and even Brett was like, oh, fuck, this is fucking weird. So he kind of walks over there nervously.
Yeah.
He sits on his lap, and Ted makes him sit on his lap.
Mm-hmm.
And what's he tell him?
He's like, there will be other animals in your life.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. And Janet comes in, and she's like, Brett, go to bed now.
Yeah, she knows. She sees something fucking weird happening. She's like, hey, man, it's time for everybody to go. And then she exchanges some stuff with Ted, right? Confronts him.
And she asks, she's like, dude, can you be honest with me? He's
what happened to your girlfriend?
Yeah, she's in Seattle.
Yeah, and that's when she knew because she was testing if he was going to lie or not. Yeah, she's in Seattle, but she's seen that picture of the mauling.
Mm-hmm.
So she just knew now something's up.
Yeah, and then this is where we see another full moon.
Another full moon. Janet watches him take off and run. This time she's ready, and she's got her gear on too, like jeans. She's ready to go. She's got clothes on. She's ready to run out there. And she does. She's following right behind him. At this point, but right before that, you see Brett sneak out his window. He's like, I'm going to save you, Thor. I'm going to come get you, buddy. And he jumps out the window, gets on his bike, starts hauling ass to the essentially the dog pound, right?
Yeah.
Which, this is a bougie ass dog pound, by the way, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then Janet, before she heads out to follow Ted, she reaches above in the kitchen and grabs a gun. And she looks at it and she's like thinking about it.
And she's like, you're crazy. I'm not taking this. Because she's not believing it. She's not believing that Ted, like, there's part of her that wants to, like, this is my brother. You're fucking crazy. You're not going to shoot this guy.
Mm-hmm. So she puts it back. So she just grabs a flashlight and follows. She goes into the woods. And then we have this back and forth. You see Brett, he's riding his bike into town. He arrives at the pound and he has like a pliers trying to break open the chain.
Yeah, and he can't do it. It's a valiant effort. It was kind of cute.
And then the lights go off, but no employee comes out or anything. Just his lights go off automatically.
It's a motion light.
And all the dogs start barking. And
he jumps the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And he's calling for Thor. He's like, Thor, where you at, dude? And he looks around. He finally finds him, lets him out, and they run to the gate. Thor immediately is like, I can't get out. But Thor's smart enough and crafty enough. There's a truck right there. He jumps on the bed of the truck to the top of the truck and then jumps over the fence.
Adorable.
Yeah, I was like, damn, Thor, you got the fucking hops, dog. And then Brett, he climbs the fence too, gets back over. But at this time, Thor has taken off running. He's not waiting for Brett. He's taken off. He knows
it's going down.
Yeah, shit's going down. He knows the werewolf comes out every night. He's booking it to go that werewolf. And then Brett is right behind him riding his bike, trying to get back. Just calling for him, like, hey, man, come back.
Yeah, so Janet's off in the woods, and she sees Ted with handcuffs on a tree, and he's talking to the tree or himself or fucking something.
He's talking to himself. He's like, I don't want to hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and he hears noise, and he immediately knows. He's like, Janet, you fucking dumb bitch.
Well, he's like, I can smell you.
Yeah, and she comes out, and he's like, are you playing fucking detective?
Yeah,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's he call her?
Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I was about to restrain myself, but you're here now, so it's kind of fucking pointless. And then he starts turning. This is where you see some of the transformation happening.
His voice is getting deeper. Yeah,
his fangs.
And he's looking weird. His eyes are turning werewolfish, and he's still doing his dialogue.
Said he thought family could save him.
Yeah.
But he was wrong.
Essentially, too, he's turning. He's like, you know what? I've come to terms. I'm accepting this.
Yeah, and the other thing,
this is who I am.
The dog was trying to warn you.
Yeah, he's trying to tell
you. Fucking send it to the pound. And I'm like, bro, you fucking made the dog go to the pound.
He is like assisted in that.
Yeah, I was like, that was like you.
So at this time, because we're cruising fast here.
He's like, you had to go and play fucking big sister.
But at this time, so this is where you see he's now kind of slipping away from Ted. I think he's more
wolf.
Yeah, he's more primal. Essentially, do you think his true colors are coming out? Like, he's not hiding it anymore? Like, he's just, I'll kill you and everybody.
I think, like, he's letting the monster's kicking in.
And take a hold of him.
He's not, the family, like, the Brett, the human, is leaving.
Yeah, he's got urges.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think that was him, like, as the brother?
No, because when, like, you can see there's moments of him being caring, like, when he's telling her
because he is still trying to chain himself up.
Yeah, so that was, a lot of trouble that he's going through and chaining himself up. And then he did warn Janet about letting Brett out at night and going into the woods. And what if those animals traveled this way and did something to Brett? So I think it was, like, an internal battle between the both. But yeah, he's like, dude, like, you should have listened to the dog. He's like, and then I use his cuffs, starts explaining that he uses the handcuffs to keep him from going and harming anyone. He's like, but can't keep the secret anymore. And then you see a full wolf transformation take place.
Yeah.
So he turns, starts with the face, and then his whole body, like the arms kicking. They fill up, and he's like slowly. So it's like a mix of CGI.
Well, the technology at the time, the graphics at the time, and this is where, like, if you remember earlier, the budget didn't allow for a cool transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is kind of schlocky. They could have done way better with this, but they didn't.
They fucked up.
Yeah, that would have sent this movie over the top. It would have been cool.
But at this point, Janet is freaking the fuck out. And she fucking starts running home. And he starts chasing her. She gets home. She finds the gun and grabs it. And while she's trying to load up the gun, the werewolf breaks into the house through the window.
Yeah.
And attacks her. And she runs upstairs. And she goes into Brett's room and just now realizes that Brett's not home.
Well, it's not just now realizing, because she was watching Ted earlier, so she probably put him to bed, and then he just immediately got clothes on and jumped out the window.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is the first time that she's finding out.
And she's like, what the fuck? Where's my kid at?
Yeah, and so not Thor, but fucking Ted breaks through the door.
Yeah.
Throws her around like a rag doll.
She runs upstairs because they have their scene in the living room. That's when she runs upstairs to protect her son, who isn't there. And then the door's getting beat down, and the door breaks open. And this is where Thor comes in, dude. He comes through the window. He senses trouble. He jumps through the window, runs upstairs. And then all of a sudden, because she can't get the gun or whatever, something's happening with that. I think she drops her something. She gets thrown around, like you're saying, and then Thor jumps on the wolf's back, Ted's back, and they start, like, scuffling, right? Like, yeah. He's ripping patches off the werewolf. He's just going hard, and the werewolf is throwing him around, but Thor is not giving up. He just keeps attacking, right?
Yeah, and at this point, too, Brett comes in.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, what's going on? And then
grabs him with a fucking neck.
Yeah, and picks him up. And again, Thor makes his effort, right?
Well, before this, Janet shoots Ted finally. She gets the gun loaded, and she shoots him repeatedly. And Ted's like snarling at her, and he's wounded at the same time. And then yeah, so this is when Thor jumps on him, and they both fall out the window.
Yeah, they both fall out and they're laying there. And man, they're both down and out, especially Thor. He's looking, he's like, fuck, and just laying there. And then all of a sudden the werewolf starts moving, getting up, and Thor is just laying there. He's like, dude, I don't know if I got any more left in me. This poor dog. But essentially, the werewolf scurries off, runs away, and then Thor, he finally gets up, and then he takes off after him. At this point, it starts to become daylight, and Ted is starting to transform back into Ted from the werewolf. And then, so he's kind of getting his like senses back. He's like, and he's all bloody and he's a mess. And you could see just where Thor was tearing flesh out. And then this is where now Thor creeps up behind him. He's growling, and Ted's kind of there. He's like, oh. He's like, finish me, do it, Thor.
Yeah.
And then it just shows Thor pause for a moment, jump, attack, but they don't show the attack. But you just pretty much Thor kills him.
Saddest scene in the movie.
That was because actually that does show Ted cares still.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, dude, I'm going to hurt my family.
Yeah.
Just kill me now. This is fucked up. Which, in reality, nobody's really a bad guy in this movie.
No.
I think that's the werewolf movies in general until they eventually kind of become like consumed by it.
Yeah, because he didn't ask for it. That was a fucking just shitty ass situation where he got scratched and now he has this curse on him.
Yeah, it's like AIDS, you know? Or herpes.
What the fuck kind of comparison? Oh my god, Richard.
Sorry. But yeah, so Thor takes him out and then he comes back to Janet and Brett.
Let me see this very nice people painting the house.
Yeah, fixing the window. And Thor's happy.
Yeah, and Janet's like, oh my god, Thor. Oh, little buddy, our hero, you saved us.
Yeah.
And Thor lifts his head up and he fucking snarls and he looks like a werewolf.
Yeah,
freaks her out.
Oh, because she's kind of daydreaming.
She's having a nightmare. Yeah, and she wakes up.
Yeah.
And it's just her and the dog and Brett.
Yeah. And Thor's chilling. He's happy.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the movie. Jeez. We powered through that, champ.
Yeah, you know, just... It goes fast.
It's a fast-paced movie. There's not a whole lot to it. It's really meat and potatoes kind of thing. But you know what? It is good. The story, that's what's great about the story. There isn't no extra fluff that, you know, where we don't need extra breakdowns and stuff. It's just kind of there.
Okay.
Werewolf, Thor, family.
Love.
Yeah, exactly.
The end.
The end. So now, after our at length discussion, has your thoughts and opinions changed on this movie?
No.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Everybody has a right to their own opinion. I get it.
Oh, thank you.
Mine somehow have created more love for this movie.
One of us has to. You love it enough for the both of us, okay?
I do.
Okay.
So with that, I'm not sure I even want to ask you now, but what do you rate this movie?
Oh.
Go ahead, be honest.
Be honest.
Rip my fucking heart out.
Like a 1.5.
Dang, dude. What'd you rate Leprechaun?
A 3.5?
No, you didn't. Get the fuck out of here.
Or a 3?
You rated it a 3, Leprechaun?
I think so. Or 2.5?
Maybe.
I think it's a 2.5.
You're giving this one a 1.5.
I am giving this one a 1.5.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I just didn't love it. It's okay.
So I'm giving this one
Oh my god.
a 3.5.
What? You said you were going to give it a 5.
I was kidding with you. I give it a 3.5 because the budget, they could have done so much more. The werewolf transformation didn't really hold up. The studio didn't back this movie like they should have, and it could have been a way, way better movie to where Angelus would have gave this a 4. But it was a little lackluster, and so that's what we got. So I give it a 3.5. I enjoy the story. I enjoy the different take on the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a man, a beast struggling, and then a woman looking out for the bad boy that can't help his transformation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's about a dog sticking up for his family.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Okay.
What was your favorite kill?
I was thinking about that. Flopsy died. The tree measurer died.
Yeah.
Marjorie died.
Yeah. Ted.
With the werewolf.
So
I would say Marjorie.
I would say the first werewolf when his head gets blown off. That was my favorite. That was cool. Or my second favorite was when the tree guy gets his head chomped on.
Smashed.
That was fucking awesome too.
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash.
That would have been an entertaining movie.
Oh my god.
Hulk against the werewolf. Mano a mano.
Yeah, so that's good. You gave it a 1.5, I gave it a 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I usually ask your ass?
Favorite kill, we already did. You said your favorite kill.
Yeah.
Reviews?
Yeah, should we go to Vienna's review corner? She's feeling up to it?
We should go to the review corner.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. I'm excited. This week we've got Vienna's review corner. Sorry for last week. Like we said, we were a little busy. Plans happened. But welcome back, Vienna. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
You're good? You had the day off today.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. What'd you do? Did you do anything fun?
No.
Did you like the haunted house? No? Okay.
I didn't get scared.
Teenagers, man. I'm kidding. Well, that's good. Well, thank you for joining us. For the reviews, what do you have? Did you watch this movie?
No.
You didn't watch it at all?
No.
Okay, but you were able to look up some reviews?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let them rip.
2.5 stars. Excellent werewolf effects and a well-trained dog go a long way. The last 10 minutes of this film are truly a blast. I agree.
I
like the last 10
Thanks,
minutes
Mike.
takes the one. Someone gave it 4 stars and said, simple and effective with really great acting and short and to the point.
Okay. Kind of like that review.
Someone gave it 4 stars and a heart and said, hey dude, did you finish the transformation sequence? And then it says, give me a sec.
Exactly. That's what happened. That's perfect.
Someone gave it 4 stars and a heart and said, they put so much into that were-dog effect for it to barely have a second of screen time.
I know they did too.
Someone gave it 2 stars and said, maybe if the other actors in this movie had been as talented as the dog, they could have called this Good Moon. Oh, real.
Good Moon. Wow.
Someone gave it 1 star and said, the actor dog looked so scared the entire time that I suspect he was not treated the best. This shitty movie made no sense, lol.
Get out of here. That dog was probably treated royalty.
Someone gave it 1 star and said, bad moon, bad werewolf, bad plot, bad movie.
Dang, did Angelus write that?
No. Someone gave it 4.5 stars and said, the best bad movie I've ever seen. Thor is the realest motherfucker I've ever seen.
True dat. What's up?
Someone gave it 5 stars and a heart and said, my favorite werewolf movie of all time.
Ooh-wee.
Is that you, Richard?
No, but it's close.
What's your favorite werewolf movie?
I would have to say American Werewolf in London because when I was a kid and I watched that transformation, I was horrified and it was scary, but at the same time, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. That was the first time really seeing a monster transformation that fucking rocked.
Vienna's like, cool story.
I know. She's like, cool story, boomer. I'm like, I'm not a boomer.
You're a little millennial. Ew, I can tell. That was the most millennial thing ever.
Oh my God. Great. What do you call the alphas? Sigmas?
What? No.
What is it?
What?
What do you call alphas when they act like an alpha male? Is that a sigma?
What?
You know what I'm talking about.
Someone gave it 3 stars and said, endearingly cheesy. No, I think you just do that.
Nah, I heard you say it.
Because I was explaining something to you.
Huh.
Someone gave it 3 stars and said, I wouldn't say this is criminally underrated, but damn, more people should probably talk about it.
I didn't write that, but I
What?
agree with him.
Whoa.
Someone gave it 2 stars and said, so bland and uneventful that it forced me into some kind of temporal fugue state, floating through a mist of fangs and fur, unmoored from any rational casuality, hungering for the sweet release of neck gore.
Wow.
Neck
That's
gore.
very passionate. You know what? I love that this movie incited some sort of emotion like that. That means it had some sort of effect on them. So, this movie rocks.
Someone gave it 2.5 stars and said, werewolf movie for white women.
I don't understand that well.
Someone
Because the
gave
guy is good looking? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
His fucking square
For a
jawline.
white woman?
I don't
What does
know.
that mean?
He is ripped, though.
Is
No, then it would just say woman.
Yeah,
not
he's
white
all
woman.
muscular.
he? But it's a little...
I think it meant like bland.
Like Target.
Target's not bland.
It is. 3 stars. Move on. 3 stars in our heart and said that dog should have won an Oscar.
He should have.
Dude, seriously. Do you have anything else?
What movie next week?
That's a good question.
The Ring?
The Ring.
The Ring, baby! And
What's-
that'll be an anniversary, right?
Yeah.
No.
Samara?
20
Samara?
20 years.
You guys should name Chancho Samara.
No.
I will never name my baby Chantito that.
Your baby Chanchito is gonna be fucking ugly. I'm just kidding.
Oh
know
my
what?
gosh.
He'll be an angel to me.
To you.
Yeah.
Oh, I have something to show you later.
It
Okay.
will because its anniversary was October 18th, the release date.
Ooh, wee. That'll be good.
It's going to be
What are we doing
22
this week?
years.
What are we doing this upcoming week?
Sleeping and then working and then sleeping and then working again.
No, Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden, baby. Who went to Iron Maiden like a week ago?
Fed Alvarez.
Hell yeah, dude. So we got something in common with him.
Saw
One of
it
our
on
favorite
his story.
directors.
I was like, oh my god, we're next.
Oh.
Shout out,
Oh.
Scarywood.
So is he on the state side right now?
Yeah.
That's tight.
Federico Alvarez.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
And then you mentioned Silverwood, Scarywood.
Scarywood.
We're taking a full crew, man. That's going to be fun.
There's a gang
Let's
of
see,
people
Orlando, Madison, you, Vienna, Wheaties, and your
going.
cousin?
Leslie and Andy. Potentially his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
That's a full entourage right there.
It
Is
is.
Leslie not coming?
I said Leslie.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
That'll be pretty fun for you guys.
Wait,
I'm
are
pretty,
they all going
pretty
in
excited.
their own car then?
I don't know. We're going to figure it out when they get here.
That'll be exciting for you guys. I'm so happy for you.
Richard's ditching us.
Dude, that's a lot of people.
What? What about it?
That's a lot of people.
You don't have to all be together, man. Don't look at me like that.
Babe.
Don't look at me, little monkey puppet. Monkey puppet.
Don't be mean to me.
What?
Oh my god, we just heard Richard's famous line. Don't be mean to me. Do it again.
Don't be mean to me. Well, anyways, guys, let's wrap it up. A little bit of business. We do have a giveaway going. It's going till the 18th. So it's called Rob Zombie Palooza, and we're giving away. What are we giving away?
A double feature Blu-ray and a Pop Funko of Mr. Robert Zombie.
Himself. So you have until the 18th to get in your
Entries and then
and then we'll announce it on Friday.
Saturday.
Oh, we'll
Yeah,
announce it on
the
Saturday.
19th, yeah, the next day.
Cool. So yeah, put your entries in, guys. We're having a pretty good turnout already on it. So, and this is Angelus's baby. I'm letting her take the ball and running with it. And I'm pretty proud of you, kid.
Oh, Shank's boss.
And then also Obsession Bites episode coming out Wednesday. Listen to it. It's all about werewolves. I cover everything from Team Jacob to American Werewolf
You
in
did
London.
Team Jacob?
Yep, I cover it all.
Cute.
So give it a listen. I hope you guys like that. If you guys give me feedback on the stuff, man, I'd like to hear from you, good or bad. We just want to make entertainment that you guys enjoy listening to. So yeah.
Do you want the critics' ratings for the movie or no?
Yeah, we got some time. Do you want to do that?
IMDb gave it a 5.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 30%, Letterboxd 3 out of 5, and Google users 81%.
Pretty good. Nice. So was this in pretty favorable then?
The critics were, like I said,
it's
IMDb
critics,
is
yeah.
5.8 out of 10. Everyone else was 30% and
Yeah.
30%. So the viewers are favorable.
A little bit more.
81%, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty favorable.
Do you have anything else you want to cover? Please hit up our Redbubble store. We're called Horror Co. on there. So Horror Company. Get on there. We have stickers. We have shirts. Great decals. Angelus did an awesome sticker for, what was it? The Day of the Dead?
Mm-hmm. Dia de los Muertos.
Hell yeah. And it looks really cool. Guys, buy a sticker. We'd love it. But yeah, other than that, we'll let you go.
We'll let you.
You screwed it up, dude.
Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Hasta luego, see.
Sorry.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.